Faith Lab is committed to fostering open-minded discussions that bridge the gap between faith and reason. As part of this mission, we are publishing the work of Dr. Kashif Khan, whose research critically examines traditional translations of the Quran. His analysis sheds light on how historical translations have been heavily influenced by Persian language and cultural traditions, often diverging from the text's authentic meanings. To ensure accessibility and timeliness, we have utilized AI-generated voice technology to present Dr. Khan's work to a multilingual audience. It is important to clarify that Faith Lab's intent is not to promote any religion, holy book, prophet, sect, or theism. Our objective is to highlight the historical, linguistic, and cultural dynamics that have shaped religious interpretations and practices, particularly the ways in which traditional Islamic scholars have influenced the beliefs and actions of Muslim populations. Faith Lab is a neutral platform dedicated to exploring matters of faith, reason, and critical thinking. By sharing Dr. Kashif Khan's findings, we aim to encourage informed discussions and empower individuals to question and analyze religious traditions and narratives. Our purpose is purely educational and analytical, fostering an environment where diverse perspectives are respected and explored without promoting any particular belief system.
In polytheistic pagan traditions, fasting was intimately tied to the lunar cycle and served as an act of devotion to the moon deity. This ritual required completing the counting of missed fasting days within the lunar month. Wealthier individuals who could not fast due to sickness, travel, or other hardships were permitted to absolve their obligation by feeding the poor. This system created an imbalance, allowing the affluent to bypass fasting altogether while maintaining a semblance of religious observance. When pagan translators adapted the Quran, they introduced their fasting traditions into its interpretations. This act distorted the Quran's original message, embedding pagan rituals into Islamic practices. Over time, these mistranslations became mainstream, misleading followers to adopt rituals that aligned more with ancient pagan customs than with the Quran's teachings. Sinasi Gunduz, in the Oxford University journal The Knowledge of Life, highlights the origins and history of the Mandaeans and their ties to the Sabians, who are mentioned by name in the verses 262, 569 and 2217 of the Quran. Citing Abdullah ibn Zakwan Abi al-Zanad, Gunduz notes that the Mandaeans, a sect of Sabians, observed fasting during Ramadan to honour their moon deity. This practice was widespread in the Middle East and documented as early as 747 AD. The Sabians, a group divided into the Mandaeans and Haranians, revered celestial bodies such as the sun, Sin, and the moon. They considered the moon deity the husband of the sun and worshipped other planets and deities. The Sabians of Mecca, who referred to themselves as Ahnaf, followed rituals that closely resembled Islamic practices. These included performing ablution, or ceremonial washing, praying multiple times daily, prostrating during prayer, observing a prolonged fast during daylight hours, and concluding their fast with the sighting of the crescent moon for 30 days. They also wore distinctive, long white robes. According to Muhammad Ali ibn Ahmad ibn Sa'id ibn Hazm, as cited by Gunduz, annual Ramadan fasting originated from Haran, a city near the border of Syria and Iraq, very close to Asia Minor, which is today's Turkey. The Haranians fasted for an extended period to honour the moon deity. This fasting ritual began in early March and concluded in early April. Historians such as Ibn Hazm have drawn parallels between this pagan practice and the later Islamic observance of Ramadan. In the history of the Arabs before Islam, Al-Mufassal fi Tarikh al-Arab Qabla al-Islam, Jawad Ali, on page 342, describes how pre-Islamic Arabians practiced fasting, similarly to contemporary Islamic rituals. These practices involved abstaining from food, water, and sexual contact during daylight hours. Contemporary of Suyuti, Islamic scholars such as Shihab Uddin Abu al-Abbas Ahmad ibn Muhammad al-Qastallani and Hafidh ibn Hajar al-Asqalani documented encounters highlighting the prevalence of fasting among pagan worshippers in their books Irshad al-Sari, Fi Sharh al-Bukhari, and Al-Isaba fi Tamayuz ul-Sahaba, respectively. For instance, Abu Bakr is recorded to have met a fasting woman among pagan worshippers in Medina, emphasizing fasting's cultural importance in pre-Islamic Arabia. Muslim scholar and bibliographer of the 10th century Abu al-Faraj Muhammad al-Warraq, in Kitab al-Fihrist, on page 348, discusses fasting among a Hindu sect that observed abstinence during the moon's disappearance and concluded their fast with a feast at the crescent's reappearance. Similarly, historiographer of religion, Islamic scholar, philosopher and theologian Tajuddin Ash-Shahrastani, in Kitab al-Milal wa al-Nihal, the Book of Sects and Creeds, noted comparable practices among Indian polytheists. The evidence reveals that fasting, as practiced in various pagan traditions, deeply influenced its later adoption and reinterpretation in Islamic rituals. The historical documentation underscores the need to critically examine how these ancient customs were integrated into Quranic interpretations, often distorting the original message.